cosmic fire hose. Some extinctions don't come from Earth at all. Around 445 million years ago, a star somewhere nearby likely exploded in what's called a gamma-ray burst. This releases more energy in seconds than our sun will in its entire lifetime. The theory is that one of these went off close enough to hit Earth like a cosmic fire hose. The radiation didn't just burn things, it shredded our ozone layer, the planet's sunscreen. Suddenly, all life on the surface was being blasted with deadly ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The creatures living in shallow water were hit hardest and died off in massive numbers. When they died, the food chain collapsed. About 85% of all species were wiped out in what's known as the late Ordovician extinction. How do scientists know? They worked backwards from the fossil record. There's no impact crater or dust layer, just a strange pattern. Species in shallow water died, while species living in deep water survived much better. Deep water blocks ultraviolet radiation. The survival pattern was the smoking gun. Number 9. The million-year reign. About 232 million years ago, something happened that sounds completely made up. It started raining, and it didn't stop for 1 million years. We're talking about non-stop, relentless, planet-soaking rain. A massive chain of volcanoes had started erupting, pumping enormous amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. The planet heated up fast. Warmer air holds more water, and that water had to go somewhere. The world before this was mostly dry desert. The rain washed that entire world away. Deserts turned to swamps. Entire ecosystems vanished. And while most creatures were being wiped out by this million-year monsoon, one small, scrappy group was thriving: the dinosaurs. Before this event, dinosaurs were minor characters. They weren't the biggest or strongest, but the rain wiped out their competition. When it finally stopped, the dinosaurs looked around and found the playing field was empty. They spread fast and soon took over the planet. It's like showing up to a job interview and finding out every other candidate got food poisoning. The dinosaurs didn't win because they were the best. They won because everyone else got taken out. Number 8. The ancestors we almost lost. About 900,000 years ago, something almost wiped us out. The evidence for it was hiding in our DNA. Scientists discovered that at some point, the entire human population collapsed. The number of breeding adults left on Earth dropped to around 1,280 people. That's it. That's all of us. There are more employees at a single Walmart than there were humans keeping our species alive. And this wasn't a quick catastrophe. It lasted for roughly 117,000 years. Geneticists call this a population bottleneck, and it left a permanent mark. Humans today have surprisingly low genetic diversity. A single group of chimpanzees has more genetic variety than all 8 billion humans on Earth. It means we all come from a very small, very fragile gene pool. For 117,000 years, that tiny group of our ancestors just held on. They had no cities, no advanced tools, no medicine. Every morning they woke up was a win for the entire future of humanity. Every person watching this video exists because 1,280 stubborn humans refused to disappear. Number 7. When the world was a slushy. About 700 million years ago, the entire planet froze solid. Not just the poles. Every ocean, every continent, every inch. Scientists call it Snowball Earth. The ice was over 1 mile thick in places. The surface temperature averaged minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And this deep freeze lasted for millions of years. Life, which was just simple microscopic organisms back then, shouldn't have survived, but it did. It clung on in tiny pockets of slush near underwater volcanic vents, which stayed warm. It hid in thin cracks in the ice where just enough sunlight could still get through. Life crammed itself into these tiny planetary lifeboats and just held on. When the planet finally thawed, the extreme pressure of surviving the freeze may have triggered an evolutionary explosion. Suddenly, after billions of years of simple microbes, complex animals started appearing everywhere in the fossil record. This is called the Cambrian explosion. Eyes, limbs, shells, all showing up in a geological blink of an eye. Earth put life through the worst possible stress test, and the things that passed became the ancestors of everything you see today. Number 6. The fish that invented the push-up. About 375 million years ago, the oceans were dying. Something was sucking the oxygen out of the water, and most fish just stayed there and died with it. But one group made a different choice, a terrible, awkward choice that is the only reason you exist. There was a creature called Tiktaalik. It was half fish, half something else. It had fins, but those fins had bones inside arranged like a wrist and elbow. It could do a push-up. 375 million years ago, a fish invented the push-up out of sheer panic. This allowed it to prop itself up and lift its head out of the suffocating water to gulp air. These creatures started spending more and more time in the shallows, then mudflats, then land. Land was not welcoming. Gravity suddenly became a full-time problem, but it had one thing the ocean didn't: no predators. These awkward, gasping creatures had the entire land surface of Earth to themselves. Their descendants eventually became amphibians, then reptiles, then mammals, and after an almost offensive amount of time, us. Number 10.